Hello and welcome back to the Normal Gamers. Today we are doing something very different. So today I am joined by Old Lady North. Say hello, Old Lady North.
Hello, hello, hello. Really, I'm Gamer Girl because,
Yeah,
nobody saw that coming.
I don't think anybody saw that coming because nobody knew who you were. But now everybody knows who you are, Old Lady North, because LC1 did a
No,
video about you.
no, he didn't. No, no, no. That was the evil twin. That was actually
Your
Kit
evil twin,
Nightingale. That was
Kit
not me at
Nightingale.
all.
You know Kit watches these, right?
I know. I love Kit. About times people have
Hi,
actually
Kit.
yelled at people to watch your videos. And she's like,
Huh?
support our fellow YouTubers.
Old Lady North, as I'm sure a lot of people know, was recently outed. Well, I mean, the secret's been out for a while, but the video came out at last. Old Lady North released her video. Kit released her video. There's so many videos about Old
I've
Lady
seen you
North's
release their
story.
video.
Yeah, Fifth Column
Yeah.
released their video. There's so many videos about Old Lady North's story on 2B2T about the insiding and all that. I'm not going to get into it. I had my own video planned, but I've watched some of the other videos, Old Lady North's included, Kit's. I'm not going to do it better than them. So, as Old Lady North
Aw,
is...
sweetie.
Old Lady North is sort of a friend, so I decided to drag
Like,
her into the
what do
voice
you mean
chat.
what do you mean sort of a friend? Alright, I'm gonna out this idiot right now. This Pillock has known about this pretty much from day one.
I
He's
have.
been one of the secret support network and that, which even Orson didn't know that this guy
I
knew
did,
about it
yeah.
and probably didn't know until this moment. But I'm gonna be honest, the likelihood that Orson watches your videos, I'm sure he's
Hey,
subscribed, but
Awesome! Yeah, nice. Awesome
I don't
likes my
think he actually
videos.
watches them.
Nice. He better. You
I
better make sure he watches my videos. Tell him that
nope,
you'll
nope,
set the
nope,
spawn
not
mason on
happening.
that. Tell him that you'll do the mason shuffle if he doesn't watch my videos.
I'll do that to him anyway because it's just funny.
Where were we?
I did it too. I did it to Franknificent, and he was showing me around the 2B museum on the archive, and then I did the Mason Shuffle in front of him. It was like he threatened to murder me.
Oh, that's funny. That's
Oh,
funny.
dear. Yeah.
Ah,
Anyway,
dear.
getting off topic, aren't we?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So today is a little interview about basically how you felt at the time because, as she said, I was sort of like a secret supporter. I knew the second most amount of information besides her husband, I believe, but I understood it, so I guess I knew the most. I don't know. How would you say that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you weren't told everything. There was stuff that they keep
Oh yeah, no,
from
yeah,
you because I had to, but yeah, you knew pretty much very early on what was going on.
yeah, yeah.
To be honest, you knew before even Orson knew.
I knew before Orson.
You, yeah, pretty much.
Oh, that's great. That's brilliant.
Yeah,
That.
because or you at least you around the same sort of time because found out you knew about it before I'd even been introduced to him. Just
Yeah,
after the Isle got briefed, when he sort of knew Lana had an insider, but
yeah.
didn't hadn't actually met me yet.
Oh yeah,
Poor
yeah,
guy.
yeah,
He's regretted it ever since, and I'm sure he wishes he could go back in time and not meet me.
yeah. Yeah. Probably. We all wish that.
I know.
Anyway,
Anyway,
so I do have a bunch of questions
recorded.
for you, Old Lady North. We do have, we both have this document. I will say beforehand, this video is scripted. We scripted this very lightly, but we have an outline for the video.
Yeah.
So my first question to you was, what did you actually think when Waylon first messaged you about the whole sort of like joining the Masons kind of thing? What was your
Oh,
first thought?
my my first thought was like, um, well, a few things went through my mind because Lana had like for ages been going on like how I should try and inside the Masons. You were there for some of these
Oh yeah,
conversations,
Lana was messaging me about that as well. She kept trying to
and
get me
and
to
it
join
was
Astral and all that. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh
and my answer to her was always along the lines of I wouldn't even know where to begin. And then
yeah,
all of a sudden, I'm in this conversation with this guy who is claiming to be the
a
Spore
Mason.
Mason, and yeah, and I'm thinking I could do this. Do I want to do this? Because I was always a bit concerned about it. But it's
Yeah.
like I could do this. It could happen. And it was a case of, do I go for it? Yeah, so it was sort of like it was a very surreal moment because I didn't know if it was something I'd want to do because there was a lot of stuff I knew bits and pieces, but I didn't know a lot of stuff at the time.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I knew Lana was like on about it, but it was like Lana on about it because she had personal beef with him or a genuine reason. So, and I wasn't 100% sure the guy genuinely was a spawn mason either, because he could be just somebody claiming to be one and not actually be it. But
yeah. Although
yeah, I
I
was
doubt many people would do that nowadays. Honestly, with the
no
Masons
nowadays
being
that yeah
completely out, that's not gonna happen anymore.
yeah.
Their
But yeah,
reputation's
it was there
fucked.
was yeah it was sort of a case of if this guy is genuine, do I tell Lana? If the opportunity presents itself, do I inside? Why would I want her inside? Why does she
Yeah,
want me? There was like so many like questions going through my head. And of course, I just immediately like told Lana, okay, so she was messaging me while I was talking to this guy,
yeah, yeah,
and it was like I had to say, oh, I'm sorry, I'm talking, I'm chatting with somebody at the moment, and then afterwards it was like a case of, yeah, I was just talking with a guy who I think he's claiming to be a spawn mason, and I think he's trying to recruit me because he sort of hinted about getting me in as a guest at the very beginning,
yeah, yeah,
and that so it was very much a I'm in a position where I could actually do this, but do I want to put myself through it?
yeah,
So yeah, so that was what was going through. It was like that's the best way of explaining what was going through my head at the time,
yeah,
and that was
yeah.
a case of if that makes any sense.
Yeah, yeah. I think you've pretty much answered question two, which was um, when Lana asked you to incite what went through your head. I think you've pretty much covered that as well. So
Oh,
I think we'll
yeah.
skip over
The thing
that
is,
one and we might as well, you know.
well, it's okay. I'd like to go out a bit more detail
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
one of the first things, when Lana said about it, I said, right, we're going to VC. I said, right, why do you want me to do it? Now, I knew part of the reason with whether she admitted it or not, would be, to do with 5C and her getting
Yeah, yeah.
back on the good side.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't know why. Now, I'm not going to go into details because I don't want to put your channel at risk. There
Yeah.
is a good reason. This wasn't simply a case of, oh, I got an opportunity to screw over a group here. There was a genuinely good reason to do it.
Yeah, yeah.
And so yeah, so once Lana Rex started explaining, I kind of knew little bits about it anyway because I had, I was on 2B, so the rumors had reached me, but I didn't know quite the same detail that Lana. So
Yeah.
yes. Oh, I just
Now,
wanted to go in a bit more detail in.
yeah, fair enough. And if you didn't know Lana, this is an interesting question. If you didn't know Lana or me at all, because I knew about the UFO crossing shit and all that, Lana told me,
Yeah.
and I looked it up for myself and all that. And I've been told by other players. I knew in pretty decent detail what had happened, and honestly, if I'd gotten the opportunity, I would have fucking done it. If I'd have just done it off the rumors, I would have probably done it to screw over the Spawn Masons, just to get back at them for that. Honestly, but if you didn't know Lana or anything, would you have joined the Spawn Masons? If you got the offer, would you have actually joined the Spawn Masons and become the enemy?
Don't know because while I did get the odd message from people, after I started doing videos, I was
Yeah,
still very reluctant to talk to people. And I might have, not really pushed it, so I might not have ended up in there. Um,
yeah,
I might not have had the wish to get that going, sort of
yeah.
thing,
So you
if that
might have
makes
sort
sense.
of like plodded on in your own, doing sort of your own thing, kind of thing. Yeah,
Yes, yeah,
yeah.
there was a good chance that, I might have talked to him for a little bit, but it may not have gone any further.
Was this hard on your personal life? This was going on for 10 months. This must have had an
Mm.
effect on your personal life, and I know. I want you to admit this
Yeah.
one.
All right, all right, all
There's
right,
one in
okay.
particular that I want you to
Yeah,
admit.
yeah. This was at the very, very beginning. So I'd only been in the Masons for a couple of weeks, and one of the at the time I didn't know he was only a guest. I thought he was like a mason, but it turns out he was just a guest. Had asked if anybody wanted to help build a lodge. So I
Yeah.
volunteered because, I needed to make a name for myself.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
unfortunately, it worked out on a Saturday when my husband and I would normally go and do something. Like this thing happens like once a year in the area.
Oh yeah.
And while we might have had time to do it, there was no guarantee I'd be back in time.
Ah.
So I smiled sweetly at my husband and said, "Would you mind if we don't go this year?" And fair
Oh.
play, he was completely understood and he was supportive and stuff like that.
Oh. Yeah.
I explained everything. So yes, basically I cancelled a date with my husband to attend my first Mason Lodge, um, so I could inside the Spawn Mason, which is what WP here is hoping I will admit to.
Yes. You cancel the date with your husband for Minecraft,
Yeah, yeah,
essentially.
yeah, yeah.
Now, are you satisfied with the outcome, or would you have liked the inciting to have gone on longer?
Right.
It's a
This
tough
this
question.
is
This.
it is because it's a long answer. So, um, I was getting very burnt out,
Yeah.
and I was starting to get quite friendly with different people in the group,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it was playing on my mind a lot that what I was doing because let's face it, I was literally fucking them over, put it bluntly.
Yeah. Yeah. You were pretty much That's what you were doing. You were fucking them over, literally.
Yeah, so
Yeah. I mean,
these these
there's
these were
no other way to
people
put that.
I had. Yeah, these are people I was getting close to and becoming friends with.
Yeah.
But also, we were in the middle of doing something else. So there was a big Mason project that started. So those of you who are aware of 2v2T and the Spawn Masons will be aware of a base they had called Sky Mason. Sky,
Oh
one
yes.
of the
Yes.
biggest bases, which was griefed by the fifth column.
Yes, it
Um,
was.
and we were in the
5C on
beginning
top.
stages. Yeah, we were in the beginning stages of that. It was going to be called Cave, and it
Yeah.
was basically they were designing and were building this massive cave. So it was all done on creative,
Okay.
literally terraforming inside, doing different areas. It was a huge project, and then it was going to be a base inside the cave.
Okay.
And we were at the very beginning stage. So we were bombing out the area.
Oh
So
yeah.
here I was in a position where I could have been a part of one of these mega bases
Oh
from the very start.
yeah. And then
And
leaked
it
it to
was
the fifth column.
tempting. Well, the thing is, Dawson already had the coordinates. As soon as I had
Oh
the
okay.
coordinates, he had the coordinates.
Yeah, yeah.
We had a spreadsheet where I'd write the coordinates down, so we had a record of them.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
Doing
yes,
griefing
and
proper.
he, yeah, the thing is, for him, it was also tempting because, again, if you're going to grief on the basis, it's nice if you've actually got something to grief.
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah.
But ultimately, the one thing that was there in the back of my mind was how angry everyone was going to be at this point.
Yeah.
So could you imagine how angry they would be further down the line? Because this would have
Yes.
been like another 18 months
Oh yeah,
worth of
they
work.
would have been furious. Oh my god.
They,
Yeah.
they,
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
the level of betrayal that would have been involved
Yeah,
in
yeah.
sticking this out was so much worse. So much worse.
Yeah.
And
Oh
I
yeah.
just couldn't do it to them. I couldn't do it to myself, and I couldn't do it to them
Oh, fair
either.
enough, yeah. Oh, that's understandable. Now, was there ever a point where you thought you were going to fail, where you thought you were going to get caught and brutally exiled from the group without the Mason Shuffle?
Ah, oh God, yes.
A few
All right,
times.
so there was, yes, the first one was after the griefing of the Isle.
Oh yeah.
So when I finally gave up the coordinates to the Isle, I gave them up on the understanding that they would wait a month because I was only there for a couple of weeks.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
literally, I was an unknown entity who would suddenly show up
And then boom,
and
boom,
nobody
boom.
knew anything about. Yes. And that's so it was a case of like, no, need you to wait, give me a chance to get them to get used to me. But Orson got a set of coordinates for a Mason base. He was like a little schoolgirl. It was like hee
Yeah.
hee hee hee, oh boom booms, and it was gone within a couple of hours. So there was talk of a purge in the Mason
Yeah.
Discord, and I'm shitting myself at this point because I'm thinking I am going to be suspect number one.
Yeah. Yeah. This
I'm not
could have
going to
been
survive
over
this.
because of Orson.
Yes,
Basically.
and especially as when they asked how he found out, he told them, "No, it's an insider," but he was playing mind games with them because they
Oh,
immediately
okay.
discredited the idea. But
Yeah.
I was like, "You just threw me under the bus, dude. I'm going to murder you." So there's that one.
Yeah.
Not the only one.
Was that one
Not
of the
the only
many
one.
times you shouted at Orson?
No, I shouted at Lana because I hadn't met Orson at that point.
Oh, okay.
The shouting at Orson came much later.
All
I
right.
did have a few words at the very beginning to explain my point of view that I wasn't too impressed
Yeah,
um
yeah, yeah.
on this. Oh, I do apologize. Yeah, so many months later, something else happened.
Yep.
Um, so it's known now that they figured it out. So for quite a few years, Orson had access to the spreadsheet where they would put their lodges,
Yep.
make a note of like who was doing the next lodge and stuff like that. And occasionally they'd put the coordinates of where the lodge was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
So Orson occasionally was able to go and grease the lodges because he had access to where they were going to be.
Yeah, yeah.
Now there was an ongoing base called Lou Base, which is literally hundreds of toilets, random toilets made of
What?
different block. Yes,
Does, does
I am not
what?
kidding.
I.
Yes,
What?
yes,
Do the spawn
yes,
masons like
yes.
poo?
I don't know.
I.
But anyway, so
I'm
yeah,
concerned for the masons now.
yes. So anyway, it was on the
I was before.
spreadsheet that the next lodge was going to be at Lou Base.
Right.
It's always near spawn. So another base got briefed by some other people, but one of the people who was there helped briefing it was actually a member of the fifth column. Wasn't fifth column doing it, but he was a member of the fifth column.
Oh, okay.
So Orson, being the chaotic little so and so he is,
Yeah.
I so hope
Love
he
you,
watches
Orson.
this. Yes,
Love you, Orson.
decided to troll a few people and make out that 5C had done it.
Yeah.
And he, without thinking, made a comment to a few Masons, P5, about them being. I think he says, "Oh yeah, you guys are going to be in the toilet this weekend," to troll them. Of course, they were Lodge was going to be at the Lou base, so
Oh my god.
immediately you got it.
Yeah.
They immediately went,
They clocked
"How
on.
does he know?"
Yeah.
And of course, I'm watching the chat and I'm watching them go, "We need to shut this down. There's a leak and everything." So I messaged him, I was like, "What the fuck did you
What the
do?"
fuck did you do, Orson?
He literally, I said, "Right, if you're still awake when I get home from work, we'll have a chat. If not, I'll catch you when you wake up later on." So I get home from work, it's getting late for him. I was like,
Yeah,
"Oh,
yeah.
you're awake?" He goes, "Yeah." It's like, "How are you still awake?" He says, "I want to get this over and done with now."
Oh my
He
god.
wouldn't get to bed because he was in trouble. So
Oh, he
I
accepted
explained
his
to him, it's
punishment.
like he was. Yeah, it was a case of he was like, "Oh, they're just being paranoid," and then I showed him some of the conversations that was going on. He was like, "Oh, fuck." I
Yeah.
was like, "Yes," and
Fuck
it was like,
indeed.
so we were at big risk at this point because they were starting to get suspicious. So
Yeah.
in the end, it was a case of like, we either don't grief it at all, and they just think that he was blowing steam and it was just coincidence, or we grief it early before the lodge, like the day before, as if he knew because it was not far from spawn, so people find it.
Yeah,
So it
yeah.
made as if it been leaked to him, but he didn't know the lodge was happening there that weekend.
So I'm
So
guessing
we
you
went
griefed
with,
it early.
yeah, I said,
Yeah.
right, go for the grief. Do it, the Friday night. So it's nowhere near the lodge. Then they'll just go with you knew you had the coordinates. Somebody had found it, and you didn't actually know it was going to be a lodge. You were just making a reference to the fact there was a Mason base was going to get leaked. And
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, that was probably one of the closest we got. I was like, oh, oh.
Yeah.
It was just a silly comment without thinking. Um,
Yeah.
that got them. First time it got them paranoid.
Oh god.
Oh,
Paranoid little bastards,
oh.
aren't
Yeah, there's been a few instances. There was another guy, one of the guest masons called Cammy,
they? Yeah, yeah.
and his lodge got grief because I said it was that you need to grief a lodge.
Yep.
So we pre-planned for them to grief his lodge. And And then the following week, we were building somebody else's, and
Yep.
I was a bit cross over lots of things. So I hopped on after helping building this lodge onto an account that is shared between me and Lana and is
Right.
known to be a 5C account. And
Okay.
I was actually looking for SBA's Christmas base, and I figured it would be near that lodge.
Yeah.
But something happened. I got sort of ended up coming out of the portal next to a spawn mason, and I had to sort of like
Oh.
fly, yeah, to do some like fly maneuvers, and I got directions slightly confused, and I ended up flying past this lodge we were building
Oh
and was
dear.
spotted.
Oh shit.
Yes. Yes, so they ended up self-griefing, and then we moved into a new group chat because some people who had been helping out who were non-Masons, we decided they couldn't be in there. So
Yeah.
I got added to the new group chat, and immediately Cammy goes, why have you added the leaker into the group chat? And I'm like, oh fuck. So I had to think very quickly and make a joke out of it. I think I joked and says, "How what you talk about, Cammy? You're already in here." Uh, but yes, that moment of panic,
Yeah.
like, oh, oh,
So what?
oh,
Cammy
I need to think
suspected you already?
fast. I don't think he did, but without realizing it, he hit on the truth,
Yeah.
and,
This is
and
where
I had
Cammy
to think
comments.
fast. Yeah, because
Hey, Cammy.
it's like, how do you act naturally in a situation like this?
Oh yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you overthink it because you don't want to look suspicious, but at the same time, you got to come across in a genuine way, and oh, how do I do this?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so that was a fun one. But I think until like the final weekend when we griefed everything, and then everyone was like, "Oh no, no, it'll be fine. They won't suspect you," and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not surviving this weekend."
Yeah. And you didn't.
They were the only no, they were the only times when I thought we were fucked
Yeah.
on that one.
And this is
So
actually the last
go for it.
question coming up. Um,
All right.
are you happy with the final outcome? Did you do everything you set out to do? Basically.
There were a few things. Yeah, we did everything we set out to do. There were a few things we were hoping to be able to do,
Yep.
but it just wasn't possible to do.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah.
We tried to we had access to like certain there's like a baritone type program because the
Okay.
Jerv is a Mason, so
Yeah. Yeah.
surprisingly
Yeah.
enough, we have access to custom baritone stuff. So
Yep.
for those who don't know, Jerv is one of the main devs for baritone. Um, and we were hoping to sort of reverse engineer. They were planning to do some magicy stuff with the code and see if it was possible to use that to figure out where stuff has come from.
Okay.
Because stuff with Gringotts gets moved around,
Yeah. Yeah.
and whether it was possible to use it to track where the other Gringotts stashes were.
Did you
Because
get all of
if
them
we
or not?
had no, no,
Ah.
we were in the end we were only able to get the one which I was given access to, which was
Yeah.
a bit of a shame because we would have liked to briefed a bit more.
Yeah.
But um yeah, because if we'd been able to get hold of all the Gringotts, the plan was the first one gets stolen, the rest of them get nuked,
Yeah.
was the plan. And if we'd been able to take out all the Gringotts,
That would have been the Masons done pretty much. That would have been them
pretty
fucked.
much, yes.
Yeah.
So if anybody's wondering how to break the Masons, it is their source of power is Gringotts.
Yeah. Their
Get
items. Their
oh,
item
get the
stashes.
stashes.
Gringotts. So, if you do like what you see, please do like and subscribe. I do greatly appreciate it. It does help out the channel. Old Lady North will continue to be featured on this channel, so stay tuned for her. Let me know if you like this
I
style
know.
of content
I do
as well.
apologize.
Yeah, I do apologise for her existence. I'm sorry, I can't find anybody else. Let me know if you like this style. And maybe I'll continue do more interview kind of style videos, more scripted shit. Yeah, and we'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.
Bye.
Daddy Peter.